The way we built the program here at Mesa is that we first spent a lot of time interviewing 100 plus entrepreneurs from the startup ecosystem, just identifying what are the skills that are required to be successful, either as an entrepreneur or as a leader in a startup. And what we realized was that there were 10 very crucial outcomes or skills that we need to target by the end of this program. What are these 10 skills? So the first skill is data-driven decision making. So here at Mesa, there are a few things that we help students with. Number one is with tooling. They need to be able to handle data, which means that they should be very comfortable with Excel. They should be very comfortable with data visualization tools. They should be very comfortable with SQL, Python, and tools like these. The second is just being able to connect the data to the problem that is at hand and working backwards from understanding what is the data that will be required to solve that problem. Regular one-on-one personalized mentorship really helps them build these skills from scratch, which is right from being able to analyze data, being able to understand what are the right tools to use, being able to visualize that data, communicate that data, and be able to drive real decision making from it. While data can be learned theoretically, I feel the only way to understand the real world use cases of data is by getting your hands dirty and analyzing real world data sets from the startup ecosystem, and that's what we do. So each one of our students goes through about 50 plus real world data sets of real startups. They go very deep into this data, analyze this data, uncover insights, figure out ways to visualize and communicate these insights, and finally recommend what it is that the startup should be doing. The second is customer obsession. It's something that's not spoken about enough. I feel 99% of the startups fail because they fail to understand who their customers are and what do they really care about and what are they ready to pay for. We want every student to be able to define customer personas, understand their goals, motivations, describe their jobs to be done, understand who these customers are, where do they reside. They should also be able to do a lot of user research. They should be able to talk to customers, derive insights from them, interpret these insights into what the solutions need to look like, and then be able to launch these solutions and iterate on the basis of the feedback that they're getting from customers. I think that's what true customer obsession is all about. And here at Mesa, given that we are building two real businesses from scratch, they get to interact with real customers. And I think there is no other way to learn customer obsession rather than trying to sell something to a customer and getting their feedback and iterating on the solution at hand. We also have top professors teaching marketing here at Mesa. These include professors from IIM Calcutta, Kellogg. One of my favorite professors from Kellogg, Tim Calkins, teaches brand and marketing here at Mesa. And I think this really helps our students grasp the theoretical concepts that are required in understanding customers and defining marketing strategies for them. The third skill is effective communication. And it's so important for anyone to be successful in the startup ecosystem or otherwise. What we want each one of our students to be able to do by the end of the program is, number one, they should be able to effectively present themselves, their stories. They should be able to present their thoughts, their ideas in a very compelling manner. The second is they should be able to write really compelling documents. So whether it is emails, whether it's PR FAQs, whether it's executive summaries, minutes of the meetings, all of these documents are so important, and our students need to be great at writing them. And that's what we work backwards from. The third is that they should be able to influence without authority. There is very strong business storytelling. There is very strong and compelling communication that is necessary. At Mesa, students get a lot of opportunities to present their work to their peers, to startup leaders, to professors, to the Mesa team. And I think doing this over and over again builds a muscle within them where they are able to run meetings, where they are able to do presentations in front of senior leadership. And I think that's a solid muscle to build over time. The fourth skill is first principles problem solving. It's considered by Elon Musk to be the only skill that anybody needs to learn. And that's why we expose our students to a lot of real world problems, which are cases that we have written ourselves about startups in India. While they are doing all of these different cases, there are also targeted workshops that we do on problem solving, on guesstimates on casing or just understanding different frameworks that can be used to solve a problem. Every single week, there is a group discussion that we conduct here, and it's a curated group discussion on one article that we have chosen for our students to speak about, think about, talk about. And I think all of this together creates an environment where students are constantly thinking about how to approach problems. Fifth skill is business acumen, and it's a very nuanced question. And for this, it's very important to understand how a particular business functions in a very specific industry or very specific sector that it's operating in. It's very important to understand the business model. It's very important to understand the underlying flywheel that is powering the business. It's very important to understand the business metrics. It's very important to understand unit economics, revenue, cost, LTV, CAC, the different levers that are going to increase the revenue, reduce costs, and so on and so forth. And hence we tackle this from all different fronts. We have top professors teaching here at Mesa that make sure that all the fundamental concepts in business practices like strategy, marketing, operations, supply chain, finance are grasped by our students. But along with this, for each one of these domains, there are also very focused startup cases that are done to make sure that students go very deep. The next skill is agile product thinking. So given that when you're working in a startup, the problems that you're going to be facing are extremely ambiguous, the only way to discover the truth is by launching things as fast as possible and putting these things in the hands of the customers. In a nutshell, the ability to pick the right problems to solve, define customers for it, define a hypothesis, go very deep, launch an experiment, learn, iterate on the solution, and go back to market. Being able to define the right success metrics, even define what success means is what Agile is all about. The seventh skill is sales. Given the nature of startups, every single person working in startups is going to be customer facing. We've got sales coursework that makes sure that our students understand what sales funnels are, what the process of closing a sale looks like in B2B and in B2C. There are sales challenges that we do with our students where in a single day they are given a product and they need to go on the streets of Bangalore and sell these products. And of course, in term one, we've got the drop shipping challenge where they need to generate 5 lakh in revenues in just 8 weeks, which is all about sales. And I think all of this builds this muscle where each one of our students are great salesmen. The eighth skill is process thinking. The ability to run a process is so important when you're working in founder's office or EIR or even product manager for that matter, because you will be made in charge of something and you will need to run that from end to end, whether it's a team, whether it's a process, whether it's an initiative or a project. So the ability to understand what are the different tasks that need to be completed, break down those tasks, create very simple things like a tracker that can help us understand what are the tasks that need to be prioritized, having clear owners against them, defining success metrics and KPIs for each one of these tasks and each one of these owners, and being able to track this every single day and run it extremely robustly is makes someone absolutely indisposable in a startup. The ninth skill is sector-specific understanding. There are a lot of new sectors that have come up in the last 5 to 10 years: quick commerce, B2B SaaS, AI, and clean energy, and many more for that matter. Our students need to understand how these sectors function. What are the business models within them that are working? What are the revenue levers like? What are the cost levers like? And for that, we do a lot of workshop style deep dives into sectors. So for example, one entire day, we will take quick commerce and we'll go very deep and truly understand how Zepto works, how Blinkit works, what unit economics for a particular delivery even looks like. Similarly, we'll go very deep into B2B SaaS some days. We'll go very deep into clean tech some days. And I think those workshops, because of the nature of them being so deep, and we focusing on them for an entire day, make sure that our students grasp how different sectors function. The last skill is proficiency with new age technologies to solve problems that earlier could not be solved. And for that, we have a lot of different, again, workshops or boot camps that we do, which go very deep into very specific technologies. So for example, we'll pick machine learning some days. We've also established a generative AI lab here at Mesa. So if you want to build Gen AI tools, you want to launch them on Product Hunt, want to understand how AI products can be built, then this is the right place for you to come experiment, launch products, get real customers, and get feedback. We also do hackathons where students get to apply these new technologies and build real prototypes from scratch and present their work to real startups. And the third is, of course, there's a lot of networking that happens. So given that the only way to learn about technologies which are especially very new is by just talking to experts in that space who spent enough amounts of time. So we call these experts on campus. They're talking to our students, taking sessions, sometimes just brainstorming on new ideas. Every single term here at Mesa, we track and measure how good a student is at each one of these learning outcomes so that we can identify where the gaps lie, what are the strengths in a student, and then spend time one-on-one in a personalized manner to make sure that these gaps are taken care of. That's how we kind of make sure that every single student from Mesa leaves here as a finished product, ready to add value to the startup ecosystem.